Let's go to line number 2. Nadine, you're on the air.
Good morning, Patty. How are you?
Doing okay. How about you?
Still wrapping my idea around the World Energy GH2 project here on the Port Peninsula. We have been, I guess that this is about 2 years now. I'm speaking on behalf of the residents here on Cape St. George, and and I am also involved in environmental conservancy the committee as well, and we've been going back and forth with the government in that year through the past couple of years with our concerns of the environment especially. And this is why I'm calling today. It's caused a lot of division here with the Indigenous groups and have whatnot. The leaders have not spoken for the members as per se. There was no meetings with us in general discussing about this project. Where they are our stewardships and our leaders to protect Mother Earth. I feel disappointed as a Mi'kmaq myself, in not having engaging with the Mi'kmaq people here, especially in the Port and the areas are going to be affected.
Okay, so just before we get too far down the road, so concerns about the environment, understood, but concerns with the assessment, is there anything specifically inside the approach that the government's taking with the environmental assessment that you're talking about, or you're simply talking about environmental impact?
Both, actually. We are looking over the environmental assessment throughout the past, year or so, and now with your amendments, you would need our own experts and our own people to come in and just take a look at exactly, because in the amendments, we are finding, our many questions here are not answered. You go through the areas of the questions and concerns, and into there they would say reviewer comments. And then you would give a response, they will say thank you. And then there's no response required, and supporting documentation, none. So, this is an amendment now that's going through the EIS process, which the government, entails World Energy GH2 to go back and go more in depth in these areas. So, this process, we only have 50 days to comment again, and that's still not enough time to have this process EIS to have a full, thorough look at the amendments and understand, areas of concern for me in Cape St. George. We have right now a transitional reserve back into 2022 on July the 7th. The provincial government releases a recovery plan to protect the limestone barren species at risk. And we are in that area. And there's a narrow corridor between there and our watershed, which is approximately 1,000 feet. And they want to put 7 turbines up in that area. Now, we have the limestone barrens, which is the most unique, and the biodiversity is the most ecological hotspot here. And it has one of the most rare plants in the world. So, we have a lot of concerns of how this project is going to come in and totally destroy with the explosive, for the barren mountains here. We have glaciers here that's been formed for years, and geologists has been coming from all over the world here. It's a very good hot spot. So it's very concerning to see this probably be at risk and total extinction, because with all the mega size of this project is what's so alarming. We want jobs, yes, and we need to protect the environment, and we need climate change. But how green is this going to come in, and they're going to completely destroy landscapes here? And it's not only here, it's going to be all over the province. I mean, it's, all of a sudden wind energy is going at a bust and a rush. And I feel that it's not going to be done properly. We need to slow this down. as a resident, I mean, I walk every day, and I'm just so heartened. I'm just heartened and looking at our landscape next here, and it's in the hands of the government right now. And the government, when they bring out a provincial release protecting, the limestone barrens, and we're under one of the 10 endangered species found in limestone barren here. So we are one of the areas that's going to be under the government's eye for the protection. And when you see articles coming from Alberta that have viewscapes and they don't want to produce any more energy or possible wind farms or any development.
Yeah, but their motivation is different.
35-kilometer zone. So here we don't have enough buffer zone. I mean, you're talking about the environmental, the transitional reserve here. There's just a road that just goes over the mountain here. I don't know if they use that for I guess it would be a line or a boundary line, but it's not enough room on the peninsula here to erect 155 proposed towers here. And what I feel so sad about is that no one has come to us here on the Port, whether it's through government, through the Indigenous leaders, to see how we feel, to see how the people feel here in Port. There's a lot of seniors here that don't go out and they're not speaking, but they are sad because we do have retirees that would like to come back here and to fulfill the retirement. And there's, this peninsula is so small. And
Nadine, have you gone to any of the World Energy GH2 town halls?
Pardon me?
Have you gone to any of their presentations or town halls?
Yes, most definitely.
So, in addition to that, what else do you think has to be done or should be done regarding social license and consultation? Because if they're opening up the door and say, come in, ask your questions, hopefully they can provide adequate answers. So beyond that, what does consultation look like?
The consultation would be people from the areas that's going to be affected, Cordroy as well, come in and speak with them personally. You have meetings coming out of Stephenville that you're going in. We had a meeting here last April on 26th, and we spent 6 hours, and they're so-called experts. And we are just locals here, and we asked questions upon questions, and there was no specific answers. They mitigate, but there's no plans. You have to understand that this is a new industry. There's no data out there that's going to likewise come here and say, this is okay, this is a great thing, we're going to put it in your area. But no one can guarantee us right now the impact and the risk is going to be involved in this project here.
Well, we understand what wind farms look like. The new part of this project or proposal is the hydrogen ammonia play, because wind is not new. I mean, there's wind on the ground in many jurisdictions across the world. So we understand how the wind projects work. The only new feature here is the electrolysis plant, hydrogen and ammonia for export. Right?
Yes, we understand that, but still, the people of the Port, the heart of the project is going to be the wind, and you're going to have over 600-foot turbine towers here, okay? So when you look at a wind farm in Ontario and PEI and you see the wind towers just going over the treetops, I mean, you don't even see them. It's the viewscapes that here from the after, but it's the impact. It's the impact from these towers where they're going to be so large. We don't know. Like, there's no studies who come here and tell us that it's been on the mountaintops here and it's going to have enormous, whether it's going to be the vibrations, the enormous devastation it's going to have on just taking the 40% of the peninsula here to put these turbines up to produce the hydrogen in Stephenville. Now, people in Stephenville, like we all know that they are for the project there, and of course, the windmills are not, as people would say, not in your backyard. And we're not against having, more jobs and the renewable energy, but it's got to be done responsibly, Patty. I mean, if you're talking about a project that's going to come here and it's going to be a success, the people of the peninsula should be the ones spoken to, because we are the ones going to be greatly affected because there's going to be more land mass that's going to be destroyed here. Our wilderness, our way of life, we are the ones that are going to have to live with the changes. So, when it comes to change, climate change and stuff, yes, we're all in it for that. But I mean, at what cost is it going to be for the people here in the peninsula, in the Codry Valley? And now they're talking about other wind farms across the province. These are not just small wind farms you're talking about here. You're talking about 155 here, 300 probably proposed or more in Central. You have down on the Burns. The wind energy is not something new. The hydrogen is. And there's a lot of risk involved in that as well.
Sure. Nadine, I'm going to have to get off to the break, but I do appreciate you making time. I'll give you the final word, though, before I go.
Okay. Yes, I would like to encourage the residents to also go to, there's going to be an assessment with Dr. Camille Belair and with Justin Brake with the Berry Grounds in Main Lane. At the tea room this Sunday at 10, starting from 1 until 4. And we're going to be going over as much of the assessment as we can and make any sense of this. So we encourage the people of the Port-au-Port, please come out, show your concerns, ask questions about the EIS. And we hope that the government, take its time, don't rush this project. It's a new project, and it has to be the people first.
Understood. I appreciate the time, Nadine.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy
Take care. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And World Energy, it's either they know something we don't know, or they're just very optimistic about a final approval coming, and it's April 9th. So we'll see where we go. But, I mean, it's not without note that they've signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Germany and the town of Stephenville. And she mentioned Indigenous leaders. They also have a Memorandum of Understanding in place with the Halibut First Nation. They raised $50 million from a Korean company sometime early last year, April or May maybe. And then, of course, they bought the port of Stephenville. They've secured couple of 100,000 plus acres of Crown land. They've got a $128 million line of credit with the federal government. So they have their wheels absolutely in motion without this final approval coming. So make of it as you will. To further the comments from Nadine about World Energy GH2, which really gobbles up or uses most of the oxygen regarding these wind to hydrogen to ammonia proposals. So people are telling me, well, the fix is in. Look, I don't know the status of the environmental assessment review inside Minister Davis's office, but the whole concept of triggering a federal assessment, that was the one area where, I don't really know how Stephen Guilbeault, the minister responsible federally, decided that there was no need for federal involvement here. And fair enough, look, we don't need the feds in our business every time we turn our heads. But that would have triggered a couple of key things. It would have triggered potential status for folks to be for intervener status, for instance. It also could very likely come with funding for what people will call experts, whether it be environmental issues or hydrologists to talk about impact on water like we saw on mainland. So that's where that additional layer of examination, whether that provides cold comfort or not, I'll leave it up to the folks in the area. But that's what would happen if and when the Federal Environmental Assessment Agency had to get involved. Let's take a break.